Hey everybody, welcome to another Fun Friday video. This week is FAQ Friday, and today I'm going to be talking about my weight loss journey over the past year or so. If you guys have been a subscriber and or a follower of my channel for a while, you've noticed that I've slimmed down quite a bit and I look a lot different than I do in my old videos from a year ago. So I just want to preface this with saying that the only person that can tell you to change, and the only person that can tell you you need to lose weight, and then the person that can tell you you should lose weight is you. Now, if your parents are telling you to do it, if your boyfriend or girlfriend's telling you to do it, your friends, whatever, if you're happy, stay happy. If you're not happy, change it. So that's about all I can say to preface this with. Have I ever mentioned that I live by a hospital and a police station and a fire department, all within a 2-block radius of my apartment? I hate it. A little bit more about me and my journey. So when I was younger, I was always heavy. I was always heavy growing up. I was not so heavy when I was little, up until school age. I wasn't really heavy, and then my mother says that I started to gain weight when I went on a steroid for my asthma when I was 6. And if I go back and look at photographs or video of me from back then, it is about when it happened. It happened first grade or so. I started gaining weight, and I was never huge. I was always still active. I hated gym class, but I went to dance class a couple nights a week, and I was doing shows, and I was dancing all the time. So I was still active. It wasn't like I was a sedentary fat kid. I was moving around and everything, but I was still a big kid. I remember being at least a 40, 42 in pants as far back as I can remember. Middle school age, I remember being a 42. So, rotund child. Always struggled with weight, and I always struggled with fitting in, and I used to beg my parents to let me switch schools in the fall. I'm like, can I go to a different school? Everyone makes fun of me because I'm fat and everything. And my parents are like, no, because it's going to be the same wherever you go to school. So you might as well just stay at the school where you are. And, being the chubby gay kid is awkward. And at that point in my life, I didn't really want to admit to my sexuality or anything, but that's a whole other story. But for 10th grade, I started at a new school, and, I was big guy. I believe I was 290 back then. So I was 290 and, about 5'10", 5'11". So I was a tall guy, but still bigger than I should be. And then when I was 10th grade, I got the lead in the musical. We were doing Into the Woods, and I was cast as the baker. And so I was like, you know what? I want to lose weight to do the show. So my mother had discovered this book and this diet called the catabolic diet, which basically, it works. You don't really eat anything, but you lose a pound a day. It works really, really quickly. Basically, all the catabolic diet is you eat foods that are catabolic, which means that it burns more calories to digest and break it up than it actually gives you. So that would be fruit, non-starchy vegetables, and then you would eat a little bit of protein, like a yogurt a day and stuff, to kind of actually give you calories to hold on to. But for the most part, you're eating vegetables and fruit stuff that burns off more than it supplies you. So I lost I want to say that I lost 40 or 60 pounds in 4 months or something. I don't remember the exact amount I lost. I lost a lot. Hence why I'm saying 40 or 60. It was one of the two. I don't remember. I lost that in about 4 months by the time the show was in April. And then I continued to lose weight after that. And then the smallest I was then was 220. And that was, I remember it was the day that I got my driver's license, which I was actually 17 when I got my driver's license, which is a whole other long story. So I was 17 when I got my driver's license, and I remember weighing myself the day that I got my picture taken. I remember being 220, which was the smallest I'd ever remembered being, and I was like, oh my god, I'm below 230. I'm actually 220. That's amazing. So then by the time I graduated high school, I gained maybe 15 pounds back. Not a lot, but my clothes were a little snug, whatever. But then when I got to college, it was terrible. I gained, like, they say the freshman 15, I gained the freshman 40 in a semester. Like, it was so bad. I gained so much weight. But, you know, that's what happens when you're 19 and you can order a humongous greasy pizza at 2 o'clock in the morning and down the damn thing by yourself. And I was doing that multiple times a week. Like, it was not good choices, not being healthy or anything. I mean, you know, being freshman in college. And I still, you know, I was still dancing. I still was taking, I think I had ballet twice a week. And I had, you know, rehearsal for I was in a couple shows outside of school, so I was in rehearsal for those. I was dancing all the time. But I was still gaining weight, and so then by the time I'd graduated college, I'd ballooned back up to where I was in high school and then some. So I was at least, I want to say I was at least like 310, 315 or so by the time I graduated college. I don't really remember how much I weighed. I just know I was big. Graduated in May. I moved here in August, and I started beauty school the next day, literally, the day after I moved here. So I was here for about 3 years. I went and did a couple summer stock things, and I was traveling around, and, you know, I was fine with how I looked. Like, I was fine. Like, I had, I remember I had friends that I was talking to about weight and body image issue and everything, and I would always say, like, you know, I don't really have an issue with how I look. I have an issue with other people having an issue with how I look. And my friend was like, well, you know, I really think that that's you covering up how you really feel. I think you really want to lose weight, and I think you're really hurt, and I think that you just need to, like, you know, change yourself. So, needless to say, I don't talk to that guy anymore for other reasons, which, again, are for a later date. So, yeah. So that's what he said, and it kind of resonated with me, but even now that I am much thinner than I used to be, I still think that that rings true. Like, I still think that I didn't really have a problem with how I looked. Like, I was fine. Like, I liked how I looked. I got attention. Like, guys still thought I was attractive, and kind of in that point in my life, that's all that mattered, was being told you were attractive. You know, but I still think that that rings true. I still think that I had more of a problem with how other people perceived me versus how I felt. And it's not like I was huge. I was like, at my largest, I was 320, and I was like a 50 in pants, a 48 in pants, which I know is big, but like, I'm 6'1", and I'm large build. Like, I'm just built very square. I'm built very large. I have huge legs. Like, huge legs, big butt, like, you know, I'm built, my rib cage is large, my hip is large, like, I'm just built to be big. So I always never thought that I was, like, as fat as I was, which I wasn't huge. I could still move around, I could still dance, back then I was going to auditions and stuff, so I was still able to move around and everything. 320 at my largest. When I first moved to the city, I was about 320, and then when I started working on the Broadway show Memphis, I kind of decided to make and this was 2012. Oh, 2011. I decided to make the conscious effort just to eat a little better. So I was trying to eat salads a little more often. I was at Dry Bar 4 days a week, so I would walk to the corner, get a salad, walk back, and I was walking to Dry Bar every day, which is about 6 avenues from where I live, and it would take about 20 minutes. So I was doing that, and I lost about 20 pounds not even trying. So I went down to 300 then, just by accident, and then I kept that off until I started the next part of my journey. What changed in me a year ago was one of my best girlfriends, Lauren. She was the first person I met in college. She was my first roommate outside of the dorms. She lives here in the city now. She was my model all the time in beauty school. Her and I are really good friends. She's getting married. And I was one of her bridesmaids, and so we all decided that we were going to do like a weight loss pot, and we were each going to throw in like $20 or something, how much you lost versus like how much you weighed, and do a percentage so we could figure out who lost the largest percentage of weight. Turns out I'm the only one in the whole wedding party that like actually took it seriously. And actually, no, one of the other bridesmaids is Joy, who I love. She's great. Joy took it pretty seriously, too. She's working on the Broadway show Scandalous, the Kathy Lee musical that ran for 3 performances. And one of the stitchers, who was a very, very big guy, his name was Bobby as well, he told me about this app called Lose It. And I'm like, oh, what is it? And he's like, oh, it's a food tracker, and it's basically the same thing as Weight Watchers. And, you know, you plug in how much you weigh, you plug in how much you want to weigh, you plug in how fast you want to lose it, and basically it tells you how many calories you need to eat to burn off weight by not doing anything. So basically, this app calculates, like, I could literally sit on the sofa and just eat the amount of calories a day that it's telling me to eat, and I would lose 2 pounds a week, a pound a week, whatever I decided I wanted to lose with the app. You can only lose 2 pounds a week with the app. That's like the highest it goes. You can lose a half pound, a pound, or 2 pounds, I believe. It might be different now. I haven't tracked in a while. It could be different for all I know, but when I downloaded it a year and a half ago, that's what it did. So I downloaded it, and it's free. And so, you know, I plugged in my weight, and I plugged in how much I wanted to weigh, and I plugged in that I wanted to lose 2 pounds a week because I wanted to get it done as fast as possible. And it told me that I could eat like 2,500 calories a day and lose 2 pounds a week. And so I'm like, huh, that's pretty cool. So I started eating, and I started tracking everything. I was still eating McDonald's. I was still eating Chipotle. That was before I gave up McDonald's, which I've already talked about. Still eating Chipotle. I was eating pizza all the time. $1 pizza, of course, because I'm cheap. I was, you know, cooking at home a little bit, but for the most part, I was just eating out all the time, which that's the great thing about Lose It, is that it has all of the information from all your favorite places built into it. If it's a chain, the information's there. And if it's not there, you can look it up on the website of the company, and you can enter in the information, and you can make your own food options in the app, which is great. So I lost weight really quickly on the app. So I started at like 2,500 calories, and then every time I would weigh about once a week. I used to think weigh on Thursdays. I would weigh myself, and then you plug in your new weight into the app, and it drops a couple calories off. And the wedding was in June. By the time the wedding happened, I'd lost, I think, 50 pounds, 60 pounds, something like that. And then in August is kind of when I stopped tracking, because I was working all the time. I got too busy, and I would forget, and then I'd try to do it for a day, and I just like been not doing it for so long, it was hard to get back. So by August or so, I'd lost about 70 pounds. We started at 320. I lost that 20 pounds like by accident on purpose. And then I lost 70 pounds, which brought me down to 330. And then in December, when I got strep for like 4 days, and then I got food poisoning for a full day. I lost another 10 pounds. Like, I was down to 220 again. I was like, oh my God, this is like the skinniest I've ever been. Oh my God, this is amazing. And then just like eating again, and, you know, being whatever, not tracking, I've gone back up to like 235, 240, which isn't bad, because, you know, I've basically stayed in the same realm of weight for the past 6 months, so that's good. I haven't been tracking. I've been really bad, so I need to start tracking, because I would like to lose a little more weight, but I am happy with how I look, and I'm happy with how my body turned out, and I'm happy that I'm actually, even though I am heavier than I was at my thinnest, I'm smaller than I was at my thinnest. At my thinnest, in high school, I was a 40 still in pants, and I was a large or a medium in shirts in like 2004. So this was before all the slim fit, boot cut, skinny jean bullshit started. I would wear a 40 in pants, and I was a large or a medium in shirts. So now, you know, 10 years after that, I've lost weight, and I'm about 15 pounds heavier than I was in high school, but I'm smaller than I was in high school. I'm in a 38 now in pants. I still wear a large, but like I said, a lot of them are that slim cut crap. My mother sent me my coat and my suit from high school, and they're both big on me. So I'm weighing more, but I'm smaller. So, you know, I'm sure I'm a couple inches taller. I'm a little more muscular. You know, my legs are a lot more defined than they used to be. I'm not awake right now. You guys, I'm sorry. Um, Milk tastes so weird. Yeah, that's how I did it. I just, downloaded an app called Lose It. I didn't work out. I didn't lift weights. I didn't go to the gym. I didn't treadmill for hours. I literally just watched and monitored what I was shoving in my face. And for me, that worked. You never know what your life has in store for you, and you never know where you're going until you make the decision to put the map away, or you make the decision to go left at the fork of the road instead of right. You're the only one who can change yourself, and you're the only one who can tell you to change yourself. It's especially hard for gay men and straight women. We kind of both go through the same things, and we kind of do the same thing to each other, whereas you're constantly getting bombarded with millions of dollars of advertising and photoshopping of what society is telling you should look like. For women, it's tiny waist, big boobs, skinny, ribs showing. And for men, it's like huge muscle Marys with like a 28-inch waist and like 50-inch shoulders and huge quads and a huge dick and a huge bubble butt and all of that stuff. And the sad thing is that so many gay men have accepted that and think that like that's what you're supposed to look like, that's what a man looks like, that's what a guy looks like, that's how a guy is, so I have to go to the gym and I have to get buff. And it's obviously apparently easy because everyone has six packs and everyone has huge arms and everyone has a huge chest. Are some of them doing it with a little extra help, if you know what I mean? Yeah. Are some people gifted genetically? Yeah. It's everyone's different. So you can't look at somebody else and someone else's journey and someone else's choices through life and compare yourself to them, because that's ultimately a disservice to you. Like, what they're doing and what they've done in their life, it doesn't matter, because you're on your path. You are going where you are going to go, and the only person that can steer you there is you. Not being the ideal body type and not being the ideal type of guy. And for a while, it did hurt my feelings. And for a while, I, was like, oh, well, I just have to get skinny or I have to get buff and, like, no one's going to like me and all of these things. And that's not true. And it's, you don't have to have a perfect body. You don't have to go to the gym. You don't have to go and, get on steroids and get really, really buff and have really bad back knee. You don't have to, look like a crazy muscle Mary with a huge upper body and, like, skinny little chicken legs. That's your choice. If you want to do that, that's fine. I'm not going to knock it. Like, you're going to put the time and energy into your body and becoming a big old juice head gorilla. It's fine. Do it. Do it. Not that I don't find it attractive. It's just excessive. And especially, I think, for gay men, I think that it's very hard for us to escape that. Especially if you live in the city. Every go-go boy is ripped and hung like a horse, and every poster you see is a guy with a six-pack and huge arms and a chest, or it's a skinny little twink. Gay man, it's almost only okay to be skinny or to be a big buff juice head. And then there's the big buff juice heads that decide to grow their chest hair in and call themselves muscle bears. But you're not a muscle bear, you're a muscle Mary that put the no away and let their hair grow back. So no, that's two completely different things. Shut up. And then it's, but gay men are always going to do that. Gay men are always going to be the mean girl, and gay men are always going to shove down your throats. That's not how you should look. You should look skinnier. You should look better. This is not what you should do. You should be buff. You should be skinny. You should be a twink. You should be a muscle Mary. And honestly, for me, I think that gay anxiety and that gay, like the need to conform that these gays are doing these days, I think that it's honestly, it's all from insecurity. That's what it is. Like, if gay men were insecure, they wouldn't go to the gym as much as they do, and they wouldn't post thirsty, like, shirtless pictures on Instagram and Facebook and on the Gorgeous Gay and 20-something group. It's all insecurity, it's all thirst. But we all deal with our insecurities differently. Some people, like me, dealt with their insecurity by eating, by hiding out at home, by hiding in drag, by, things like that. Whereas other people hide their insecurities by working out a ton and treating other people that don't look as good as they do like dirt. Many gay men were the object of ridicule and the object of taunting and getting beat up or whatever in high school and younger ages. So I think that it's them going through not a midlife crisis, like a quarter life crisis, and being that mean girl that they never got to be, and being that popular jock that they never got to be growing up. They're just living a second high school. As a whole, I think of gay men as mean girls from high school that never grew up, or a mean girl from high school that never got the chance to be the mean girl until now. So they had a rough time growing up. People called them fat, people called them a faggot, etc. So now they're gonna, get really big and buff and then look down on other people because they don't know how to deal with pain and they don't know how to deal with their own insecurities, so they have to project it onto others. And that's just my input about the whole thing. And like I said, I'm not a muscle Mary, and as of now, I'm not going to be one anytime soon. I'm not saying you shouldn't work out. I'm not saying you shouldn't be buff. I'm not saying you should be the best, look the best you can. I'm not saying that. I'm saying when you're holding it above other people's heads and you are judging people that aren't into working out, etc., it's not cool, and you're being a mean girl. And it's honestly making you look stupid because your insecurities are showing through by judging me on how I choose to live. So that's my little blurb right there. So I guess in closing, this video is kind of a somber one. I'm sorry, you guys. I guess in closing, I'm just gonna say, be true to yourself. And if you want to lose weight and you decide to lose weight, just do it healthy. Don't be anorexic. Don't, run on 25 calories a day, run 15 miles, 20 calories a day. Don't do that. Don't, have, one bowl of cereal once a week and that's all you eat. Don't do that. That's not healthy. If you want to lose weight and you want to get your life in order, you really need to do it healthy and you need to do it slow. I would have loved to have lost 100 pounds in 6 months, but the choice that I made and the program that I chose to use was not that quick. And honestly, I think that it's better to do it slowly and to take your time, because I personally think that the slower you take it off, the less likely you're going to be to bring it back. When I was in high school, I lost all that weight in 4 or 6 months. I lost all that weight and it came right back, and then some when I got to college. So it's all about you making the choice and you deciding to change. No one else can tell you that but you. If you're happy, if you got a big old belly, rub it. If you're happy being 400 pounds and you feel gorgeous and you feel attractive and all of that, that's fine. Be true to yourself. I wanted to change, so I lost weight. I, put my life on hold, and I was 26, and I said, you know what, I need to get my life in order. I need to, think of the future, and I need to change. So I did. And I think that that's the first step is, they always say the first step is realizing you have a problem. And that's definitely true in this case. So that's the only advice I can give you guys, I guess. Everyone's weight loss journey is different. Everyone's going to do it different. Everyone is going to have different results from it. I loved lose it and it really worked for me. It might not work for you. You might have to go to the gym. You might have to lift weights. You might have to go running 3 times a week. I didn't have to, and I didn't really want to. I hate working out. Don't let anyone else tell you what to do with your body and what to do with your life, because that's them imposing their insecurities upon you, and that is them imposing their views about what people should look like and how people should conduct themselves onto you. And it's never going to stop, and it's never going to get easier. Honestly, I kind of feel sad for those kind of people, where I understand that, you have to live at the gym to look like that, and I understand, but, not everyone does that. That's not everyone's cup of tea. Not everyone does drag. Not everyone has hair. Not everyone is tall. Not everyone is white. Everyone has things in their life that they can control and things in their life they can't control. So I just think that as a whole, we all need to be nicer to each other. And I think that we need to be more accepting of each other. We're all one big gay happy family. So we're all brothers and sisters here in this journey and in this struggle. And especially in the world today, like this whole Arizona religion thing. I mean, but there's still people that think that us as a community and us as a whole are not worthy of rights and are not worthy of being parents and worthy of being citizens. And I think that we get enough of that from the outside world, and we get enough of that from people that aren't in our circle and in our lifestyle. So I think that as a whole, we get enough of that from everybody else. So I think that we should all be nice to each other. And if someone's fat, if someone's a twink, if someone's a twonk, if someone is a muscle Mary juice head, if somebody is, a little husky, if someone's a big old roly-poly bear, treat them equally. We're all people. We all have a heart. Underneath all of that muscle or fat or hair or bones or whatever, we all have a beating heart, and that all works the same. And I think that that's what people forget. So thank you guys for tuning in to this FAQ Friday. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Check out all my fun social media stuff down in the box. And I will see you guys next week for a Wiggy Weevy Wednesday. Thanks again.